I invested close to $400,000 into a business that I had studied for nearly 2 years. I did the research, I ran the numbers, and I understood the market. And 2 months after I opened the doors, the city tore up the entire street. This work lasted for almost 2 years. And here's the part that should bother every entrepreneur watching this: nobody told me it was coming. Now, let me set this up for you. This wasn't an impulse investment. I spent nearly a year and a half studying this business before I ever signed a lease. Studied traffic, demographic, neighborhood trajectory, competitive density. I found a former McDonald's on Wealthy Street in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And when I tell you I saw what others didn't see yet, I literally mean that. The Wealthy Street Theater just completed a multi-million-dollar renovation. Foot traffic was building. New tenants were starting to show up. And a friend of mine was just approved by the city to erect a new strip mall on the same parcel that the McDonald's was on. So we ended up splitting that parcel. The corridor had momentum. I wasn't gambling, it was positioning. The problem wasn't my analysis. The problem was what my analysis did not include. Here's the due diligence that most people skip. And on this deal, so did I. Most new owners research the demographics, but very few research city-level infrastructure plans. Before signing a lease or signing a purchase agreement, you should ask, are there any road construction plans upcoming? Any utility upgrades scheduled? Any infrastructure redevelopment phases planned? Any parking or zoning changes expected? Cities plan years ahead, but they won't volunteer that information. You have to ask. So let me break down what my $400,000 actually looked like when I opened my laundromat. Close to $200,000 went into commercial equipment, washers and dryers, heavy-duty machines built to run all day. The other $200,000 went into the physical building itself. Not only a cosmetic renovation, but the bulk of that money was spent in stuff that you didn't see. It was the infrastructure of the building, upgrading gas lines, increasing water capacity, reworking sewer systems, rewiring electrical systems. Because here's what most people don't understand. A laundromat isn't a retail business. It's a utility plant that happens to wash clothes. Second reality check. What would it cost to open a laundromat today? If you're thinking about opening a laundromat today, here's the realistic range. To buy an existing laundromat, you can figure anywhere between $150,000 to $600,000. To build a new one from scratch, figure $400,000 to $1 million plus. And equipment makes up usually between 40 and 60% of that cost. And here's what lenders usually require. They want 20 to 30% cash from you. So if your project costs $500,000, you should expect to bring anywhere between $100,000 and $150,000 in cash, not borrowed, but your money. Every time a machine went down, it cost me about $200 to fix. It didn't matter if it was a 5-minute repair or a 50-minute repair. Coin jam, $200. Door issue, $200. Customer damage, $200. Multiply that across dozens of machines, and suddenly maintenance isn't overhead, it's survival. Maintenance will make or break you, period. In a machine-based business, maintenance equals profit margin. Typical laundromat maintenance costs about 3 to 8% of your annual revenue. Emergency calls often cost anywhere between $150 and $300 each. Preventative maintenance is not optional, it's required. If you don't have a maintenance contract or someone who can fix machines, you will pay for it repeatedly. So let's talk about the part that most people understand, revenue. At that time, and still today, most customers spend around $5 to $6 a load. Sounds pretty profitable, right? But here's what that does not show. Time you factor in water and sewer, gas, electricity, rent, maintenance, labor, equipment financing, you're often spending $4 to $6 a load just to produce it. On a good day, you might make $1 a load. Check this out. This is not a high margin business. It's a high volume business. Profit happens when machines stay full, customers return consistently, costs stay controlled. If customer traffic drops, profits disappear fast. So here's another reality check. Year 1 versus year 3. In year 1, it's your learning curve, your frequent repairs, customer base is still growing, cash flow is tight, and break even is common. Year 2, systems stabilize, customer loyalty builds, repairs decrease, and profit margins begin to appear. In year 3, volume becomes predictable, equipment stabilizes, and profit becomes sustainable. Most successful laundromats don't stabilize until year 2 or year 3, not month 3. So, getting back to my story about Spin City Laundromat. 2 months after opening, the city tore up the entire street. Access disappeared, customers couldn't reach us, and what was supposed to be temporary lasted for almost 2 years. Now, let me be clear. I didn't sit back and wait. I brought in a dry cleaning service, leased space to create additional income, added snacks, convenience items, and a lottery. I tried to build 3 revenue streams inside of one location. But here's what I learned. You cannot out hustle a broken location. When customers can't get to you, nothing else matters. So remember, location is everything. You can fix machines, you can train staff, but you cannot fix bad access. So you have to look for easy parking, high visibility, strong traffic flow, accessible entrances. Without these, you're fighting an uphill battle. Now let me share a hidden math problem with you. When volume dropped, my cost didn't shrink. Utilities still ran, machines still existed, rent still came due, but revenue dropped. And here's what happens when that occurs. Your cost per customer goes up and losses accelerate fast. Some people ask, is this something that you can make money on just with one location? With a laundromat or any type of similar operation, typical growth pattern would be this. 1 store equals learning phase, 2 stores equals stability, 3+ stores equals a wealth building phase. Maintenance spreads out, staffing becomes efficient, revenue multiplies. Most serious operators don't stop at one location. It's true. Now, should you do this alone? Here's my honest answer. If you don't understand machines, financing, or operations, you should consider a partner. The best partnerships combine technical and financial skills and operational discipline. Because laundromats aren't simple businesses. They are engineering plus finance plus customer service. That business didn't fail because I wasn't capable. I was experienced in business, experienced in finance, but what I didn't know is what the city was about to do. So, in my mind, that's the difference between effort and experience, between education and exposure. And if you're thinking about opening a laundromat or any business that runs on machines, here's what I want you to remember. Hard work isn't enough. Planning isn't enough. You have to know what questions to ask before you invest the money. Because once the doors open, the clock starts and the math doesn't wait. This is The Rebuild, and I'm Les Allen. If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe to the channel and most importantly, share it with someone you love or care about. Remember that respect is the only currency that doesn't lose its value. Stay sharp, stay respected, and stay rebuilding. Peace. And if you like this Billy Brown sweatshirt, hit the website now. Peace.